Hey guys, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Ash Paulson and Ted from Brain Scratch Comms to discuss the revealed information on Hyrule Warriors Legends' upcoming DLC. So let's get started. Well guys, Nintendo's finally giving us some information on how this DLC is going to work for Legends, and boy is it confusing. It's just, it's in some ways it's a lot like the original DLC Season Pass that Warriors had, but Legends, just because of the whole 3DS and Wii U aspect, it's all over the place. But what are you guys' thoughts on this, just on a gut level?
I continue to be floored by the impossible amount of content coming to Hyrule Warriors. I mean, this is a game that already ships with a ridiculous amount of content on the disc or on the cartridge. And now, I mean, with all the DLC that we already have had for Hyrule Warriors, that's now being included with Legends in the base game, with the characters that were already announced, plus Medley, now plus 4 new characters and more adventure maps. It's crazy. Like, this is the game that just keeps on giving, and it's really, it must be doing really well for Nintendo for them to keep funding DLC like this.
Oh, of course. Just for context, I'm in my quest to 100% the game, and that includes getting all characters up to 225
Jesus.
levels. And I'm well over 400 hours at this point. Probably with all of this extra DLC stuff on the 3DS version, it probably between both would add up to somewhere around 600. Now, one thing that I am glad is that you don't have to buy Legends in order to get all of the characters. It's, I believe, $12.99 in the US to get all the characters in Ganondorf's Trident, which is reasonable. My biggest disappointment is that while the 3DS version is getting plenty of new adventure maps, which will give you a reason to use all of these new characters, the Wii U version is not. They're just getting the new characters raw. And while it's fun to have them, and I'm sure that having everybody in HD will be wonderful, the big issue is that there's nothing to use them for in the Wii U version. And this is a problem that I had with characters like Tingle and Twilight Midna on the Wii U version, is that once you get them, they're there and you can use them for like free mode and stuff, but you're not building anything towards them. You have no heart containers to collect, you have no weapons to upgrade. It's just, you can play with the character, which is nice, but if there's nothing to use them in, it feels a little bit pointless. So I was hoping that with Legends, they would kind of try to fix that a little bit, and at the very least for the Wii U version, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen, which is a shame.
That is too bad, because it feels like the Wii U version is almost kind of an afterthought at this point, which I suspect for many fans, it's really going to be their main version. It's the main version that a lot of people are still playing. I think a lot of people, even after Legends releases, are going to view the Wii U version as the definitive one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, aside from the extra stages and stuff, I can imagine a lot of people might not even want to touch the 3DS version, especially if they don't happen to have a new 3DS.
Yeah.
Because, like, honestly, if you don't have a new 3DS, I probably would just recommend buying the character pack instead of shelling out $40 for Hyrule Warriors Legends, considering how badly it seems to run on a normal 3DS.
Yeah, I've played the 3DS version, the regular 3DS version, when I was playing around with the Japanese version, and it is noticeable. There is a major drop in quality when playing on a regular 3DS, but I did get accustomed to it. You can get used to it. It's not ideal, but if you really want to play this game, you can. I just don't recommend it at all, because it is just a huge problem. And that's the thing. When I played these characters on the Wii U version of the Japanese Hyrule Warriors, and seeing them in HD, it felt so much fun just to explore with these characters and experiment with them, seeing their full-on animations for a lot of this stuff, because Legends does cut out animations for, like, when you fight Dodongo. You just sort of do this blast from your character, and in the Wii U version, you actually like jump up and stab them in some way, and so you do lose animations when you're going to Legends just because of the limitations of the hardware, which is unfortunate. But I think the thing that people are going to be the most upset about is not maybe the missing out on the characters; it's missing out on the Linkle scenario, missing out on the Wind Waker scenario, and having that be exclusive. The fact that there's going to be no way to get that content onto the Wii U, at least as far as we know right now, unless there is a huge demand for it and they somehow relent, that is the reason to pick up Legends, and I don't know.
One thing that also kind of disappoints me about Legends, and because as far as I can tell, they're not doing any sort of cross-save sort of function. Okay, so I'm going to have to start from square one. Every character, not only just at level 1, but no skills maxed out. No, I'd have to unlock all their weapons again. It's going to basically be starting from square one, and, you know, I had a lot of fun playing Hyrule Warriors, but I don't think I can put in another 200 hours just to get back to where I was in order to start the new, like, Wind Waker map and stuff like that. Because if the maps end up being as hard as, say, like, the Twilight Princess map for the original Hyrule Warriors, it's going to take your levels, getting your character's levels to be at, like, 200 in order to just even stand a chance of A-ranking some of those missions. So, yeah, I'm kind of torn because the Linkle scenario and the Wind Waker scenario does look really cool, but I just wish that I could get it on... I mean, I'm also not opposed to having the game on the go, but I wish that I didn't have to lose so much progress, I think is also a huge thing. And I'm not sure how other people who play Hyrule Warriors feel about that, but personally, that's going to be annoying.
And the thing about Legends is it also solves an issue that you listed with the Wii U version, where they do give you reasons to play as Twilight Midna, to play as these other characters. And that seems to be built into it from the beginning. And it's really unfortunate that there's no way to transfer some of that sort of stuff over to Wii U. I understand why they don't do it, because they need a reason to actually sell Legends, but it sucks. This really does feel like it should be like a full-on DLC pack for the Wii U. Screw the ability to take it on the go. Just put this on the Wii U for everybody.
Yeah, at the very least, like, new 3DS exclusive. I am still baffled that they've decided to put this on the original 3DS at all, personally. But, you know,
Well, and the fact that they have, it kind of speaks to Hyrule Warrior Legends status to me as kind of like a shoehorned in title just to fill out the 3DS's release calendar. Because, I mean, let's be honest, when Hyrule Warriors was announced, I don't think anybody was going, man, I wish there was a 3DS version of this. I mean, this just isn't the kind of game that I would want to play on a handheld of the 3DS's power. I could maybe see it working on the Vita, of course, not Zelda, but I mean, you know, in terms of the hardware, I could see it working on the Vita, but I don't know. I just feel like this is the kind of game that requires the kind of you know, graphical output that the Wii U has at the least. And it's just not a downgraded version for the 3DS is not something I think a lot of people wanted. So it's kind of a shame that they have to kind of split support between the Wii U and 3DS versions.
Well, the big thing about, you know, the Dynasty Warriors games is how many characters are on screen at once, and you don't have that. And the thing is, there's constant pop-in, at least on the regular 3DS version. I have yet to play the new 3DS version, you know, how it works on there, but it's just constant, like you have to look at your map to know if you've actually cleared out all the enemies, because if there's not a consolidation of red there, then you're good.
Yeah.
To be fair, there are some missions in the Wii U Hyrule Warriors where you could do like a one of your screen nuke attacks and destroy a whole bunch of enemies, and then a bunch more enemies will fade into the room that you're fighting. And there are points when I'm playing Wii U Hyrule Warriors where I wish that my own soldiers would get off screen because they're not helping in order for the game to load more enemies. But again, to kind of backtrack from that a little bit, that only really tended to happen on the absolute hardest adventure mode maps. Even when you're playing on hero mode in the story, that doesn't tend to happen too much. And as far as I could tell from the regular 3DS footage I've seen online, that seems to happen even in like the first level of the first mission. So,
yeah, and the other issue is that, you know, with the screen nukes attack, you feel powerful because all of a sudden you do this move and all of a sudden 40 to 80 enemy soldiers are dead. You know, they have that KO ranking. You do that on this, you're lucky to get 20 to 25.
Oh,
yeah.
And so that satisfaction is just not there. But this is turning into into Legends as a whole discussion. What do you guys think of it? Let's go ahead and break down the DLC one by one, starting with the only exclusive 3DS pack, which is, let me see here, the Master Wind Waker pack, which gets 16 new My Fairy costume pieces and the Master Wind Waker map for Adventure Mode, which was there a Wind Waker map in Wii U?
No. The
Okay.
Wind Waker map should be new for Legends, although I think that this will probably function very similarly to the Adventure Mode map that we got as DLC for the original Hyrule Warriors, where it's probably going to be remixed missions from the original map, probably made harder. Hopefully it'll have missions for, like, Medley and stuff, because she's supposed to launch for free along with the map, like how Sia, Volga, and Wizro launched for free with the first wave of DLC for Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, and it is interesting that they are advertising a new adventure battle scenario, and it really seems like they're pushing this new My Fairy concept, because 16 new costume pieces. Like, how are they coming up with so many costumes for these things?
I don't even really know what the My Fairy is supposed to do exactly.
I didn't lock it in the Japanese version, so I have no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell what exactly all that does. Like it's weird how much miscellaneous stuff that Legends added. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the most straightforward out of all the packs. It's just like the Master Quest mode. It's just I don't think it's being brought over to the Wii U because again, it is just kind of a new adventure mode map, which is again the Wii U's not getting any of those. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
What's a little bit more interesting is the Link's Awakening pack, because not only does that have a new weapon for Linkle, which could be pretty much anything, it also has a new playable character, which will most likely be from Link's Awakening. So, hopes, anybody? I haven't played that game, so I have no idea who the characters are.
Wait. You haven't played Link's Awakening?
Something to understand about Ted Dash is that Ted is not exactly the biggest Zelda fan. Like his.
All right.
So. Yeah,
okay.
That's why it's so strange that he's this addicted to Hyrule.
It is
Hyrule
strange,
Warriors.
yeah.
Yeah, it's odd because the only Zelda game to me that eclipses Hyrule Warriors in quality is the masterpiece known as Link's Crossbow Training. So
Wow. Okay.
but as for new characters, like I know you guys joke about the Windfish, but I actually think that would be kind of funny.
I think it would be awesome.
Yeah,
Like, not even just funny. I think that's who I'm hoping it is. I mean, I think it's going to be Marin, and that's fine. I mean, Marin seems to be the only other real, possibility.
Character,
but
really?
I mean, Medley's playable now. I mean, if Medley can be playable, why not Marin?
That's true. That is true.
You know?
I could see him. The thing is, I could see a Marin costume because they don't talk about costumes in here, and there's going to be new costumes involved with the adventure mode map. I would assume. But as far as a character, I think this could be a miscellaneous one because I just don't see Marin becoming a playable character.
I'd say either the Windfish or Marin probably because there aren't, early 8-bit Zelda wasn't too heavy on characters or story, so there wasn't probably an awful lot for them to pull from that game.
I'm going to make a prediction and say that since it could really be anything, and the other ones seem to have a more able to pull a character from the games that they're listing. I'm going to say this is the character we're going to get this is the time we're going to get Groose.
Oh, don't say. I want it to be a Link's Awakening character. I mean, Groose is cool, but I want it to be. I love Link's Awakening, and it's so overlooked. Like, it's one of the best 2D Zelda games ever.
See, I don't think
one of the best
I don't think
Zelda
it gets
games
overlooked that much because you bring up Link's Awakening. There's always somebody that's like, I love that game. So
Well, I feel like it's overlooked compared to Link to the Past. I mean,
okay.
When you put it next to Link to the Past, it's almost completely forgotten. And I just think I like the idea. Instead of having another Skyward Sword character, of having a character from Link's Awakening, which isn't really known for its characters outside of the Windfish, really. So, and Marin, I guess. So I really hope it is one of those two, especially the Windfish, because I think that would be awesome and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah. Well, the next DLC pack we get is actually in autumn, which is the Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks pack, which, again, we get more My Fairy costume pieces, who really cares, a new map pack, a new map for adventure mode with 1 new adventure battle and 2 new challenge battle scenarios, which I'm not quite sure what they mean by that, and then along with a new playable character and a new weapon for Toon Link. Would you have an idea what they're talking about there, Ted?
When it comes to challenge battle scenarios, there's a couple of different ideas that I've got in mind. They could either, they've got the challenge mode, where they've got things like the battle in the Faron Woods, where you have to, do a small little boss rush type thing. So it could either be some of those, or it could be a brand new challenge mode like Ganon's Fury, but I doubt that's the case, because I think they would have made a bigger deal about it. So...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. When it comes to Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, again, these aren't games that I've played, but when it comes to characters, what is it? Linebeck and Ronaldo from Spirit Tracks are two of the more prominent characters. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those ended up being the new playable character for this one.
I think it has to be Linebeck. Anyone other than Linebeck from those two games would seem weird, in my opinion.
Is Linebeck in Phantom Hourglass too?
Yeah, he's in both. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Well, his descendant is in Spirit Tracks, and it's essentially the same character. So, yeah, I mean, I would think anyone other than Linebeck, especially because he's kind of a fan favorite, would be really weird coming from.
He's sort of like this Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean type character. So you could imagine them having a lot of fun finding a way to make him playable in Hyrule Warriors.
Would he drive a train at his enemies?
He doesn't drive the train. He might drive a boat at his enemies, so...
Oh, but we can already do that with the king. Lame.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how they're going to work Linebeck in. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because his character is definitely, I don't know, like, he gets some character development in the games, but you don't really see much in the way of gameplay mechanics with him, so... I'm curious to see how, if it is Linebeck, and I would think that it would have to be if it's from one of these two games. I'm curious to see how they implement him. I'm just happy that Spirit Tracks is getting name-dropped at all, because so many people overlooked that game and kind of forgot about it, and I thought it was actually secretly one of the best Zelda games.
I enjoyed it, but, I mean, it's the control issues, I think, is the biggest downfall for both these games.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard people kind of grumble about Phantom Hourglass from time to time, but Spirit Tracks does kind of have that sort of soft fan favorite reputation that Ash was talking about. I hear a lot of people really like Spirit Tracks, so...
I think Spirit Tracks was just a much better... It was like Phantom Hourglass, but not sucky.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
So, okay, one of my questions is, are there any weapons from either of those games that are particularly iconic that you think would be good for a new weapon for Toon Link, then? Because if he's going to get a new weapon in this pack, I think it would probably be from either of those games. So is there anything particular you'd want to see? Again, I haven't played either of those games, so I don't know what weapons would be best to pull from.
The only thing I could think of is, it's been a while since I played, but what would kind of be cool if he could, like, command Zelda possessing the armor as a weapon.
Huh.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Like, having phantoms to command.
Mm-hmm. I think that'd be pretty neat, and, kind of a unique way of handling things.
It's not from one of these two games, but I always thought that the grappling hook would be kind of a cool weapon for Toon Link from Wind Waker. Because it's kind of a unique take on... I mean, it's not the hook shot. It's kind of a unique take on a grappling tool, and I think that could be... I feel like that could be utilized pretty well in battle in Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, I agree with that. But anyway, let's go ahead to the very last one, which is in Winter, which gets us the Link Between Worlds pack, which gets another new adventure mode map with a new adventure battle and 2 new challenge battle scenarios, and then 2 new playable characters, which I'll be shocked if they're not Ravio and Yuga.
What about Hilda?
It has to be.
Hilda? No Hilda.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Zelda already have Hilda colors in Hyrule Warriors?
She does.
Yeah, but I would imagine that since they're staying so truthful to Wind Waker's art style with all these new Wind Waker characters, that they might try to go for something resembling Link Between Worlds' art style for this game. I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to update them to match the Hyrule Warriors aesthetic, but I also would not be surprised if they try to capture the sort of revival of the classic Zelda art style for these new characters.
True.
Which would be
interesting. I think that when you look at these 3 characters, I feel like Ravio and Yuga kind of they fill niches that aren't already present in the roster, whereas Hilda would just kind of feel like... I mean, it depends on how they implement her, but I feel like she would feel more similar to Zelda compared to Yuga and Ravio, who are going to feel more like their own characters. Plus, within the context of A Link Between Worlds itself, you see more of what Ravio and Yuga can do. You don't really see as much of what Hilda can actually do in terms of her powers.
So would one of Ravio's attacks be lounging around in Link's house? Doing
I hope so. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Sending out his little pet to attack enemies or whatever, or just having just the fact that he has all these tools. Maybe he just goes between all these tools, and that's how you get like all the those type of things, just using them in different ways. I think Yuga could be really cool with that paintbrush, though.
I do too, absolutely.
And then just being able to transform into his Ganon form.
Yeah.
Yuga could be a lot of fun. I think it might even be probably the best potential for a new character of this set of 4.
The way that you were describing Ravio, though, is kind of what I would imagine that Link would have played like before you announced, before we saw how he works in Hyrule Warriors, because one of the big things about Zelda is using a whole bunch of different weapons at once with all the items, whereas while Link does have the most weapons out of any character in the game, he's still only ever using one weapon at a time. So I think that if Ravio were to use a whole bunch of different weapons all at once, that would make him feel more like Link than Link, oddly enough.
That's true. I don't know. Like when I think of Ravio, how Ravio might play, I'm thinking something like maybe Firion or Bartz in Dissidia Final Fantasy, where they use a bunch of different kinds of weapons, or kind of a jack of all trades, master of none type thing. Mm-hmm. So I could totally see combo strings where Ravio just switches instantly between like the ice rod and fire rod and bow and sand rod and things like that. But the more I think about it, Hilda might work. Hilda could just work as a kind of generic-ish dark magic type character. Well, even though we already have so many of those kinds of characters like Wizro.
Yeah, well, the dark. Honestly, I don't want another dark elemental character, because I'm pretty sure we've got more dark characters than any other character in any other element type in the game. Although, to be fair, I do think that dark is the best element type in the game, because it allows you to do more damage against single targets, which is usually the most annoying thing to try to do, is whittle down boss HP.
Right.
But honestly, if we had to stick with one weapon and they weren't going to do that multiple weapon types, I'd want Ravio to use the Wind Rod from Link Between Worlds, because that was easily my favorite power-up in that game. The one where you kind of shot up into the air with a little gust of wind.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was my favorite weapon.
It'd be cool. Actually, be cool if he just used the multiple rods, like the ice rod. The I guess can't use the fire rod because of regular normal Link, but having the ice rod and the sand rod and the wind rod, that'd be really cool. Especially what they could do with the sand rod. I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, and I mean, I could easily see something like the Wind Rod being like a super cool combo finisher or something. Like, I could definitely visualize how Ravio might play in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I think it is going to be Ravio and Yuga as opposed to Hilda.
Yeah.
There better be, for whatever weapon he does end up having, it better have that little bunny thing on the top. Though.
Absolutely. Yeah. I hope so. It has
to. But yeah, well, that's pretty much it for all of the season passes. I mean, I guess the question is twofold. One, are you guys going to pick up Hyrule Warriors Legends? And if not, are you going to at least get the DLC so you can play these characters on the Wii U?
The latter option.
Well, I already have a new 3DS, so at the very least I can play the content without having to deal with terrible slowdown. So I am planning on getting the 3DS version, maybe not right away. Because, there's like 12 different games out right now, between Fire Emblem, which I'm still not done with, Bravely Second coming out in a month, which I have pre-ordered. I might not have time for Hyrule Warriors Legends right away, but I am very interested in that new story content for characters like Linkle, because again, it would be great to have her on my Wii U, and I will get her on my Wii U eventually. If all I can do is grind her levels and play free mode, there's not an awful lot of point to using her. For me, yeah. So I really value that added story content and adventure mode maps.
I don't know. I think a lot of people would take issue with the idea that there is no point to grinding her levels. I feel like a lot of fans would like to grind Linkle's levels. I'm just saying.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It was such an obvious. I had to make the joke. I apologize.
I feel like you forced that one.
Did I? Did I? Maybe. I feel like I half forced it, but it was half already kind of waiting there for me.
Nah, whatever. I will say, though, of the characters I did get to play, Linkle was my favorite to play with. She is so much fun. I love the way she she handled. God damn it.
The way she handled? Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, now I'm thinking you have these thoughts in my head. Thanks, Ash.
Nice.
No, the way she plays is a lot of fun, and she's so unique, and all the crossbow things. She's I don't know. She's a great addition. So.
Yeah, I agree. And she, I mean, I do not plan on picking up Hyrule Warriors Legends at all. I have zero interest in replaying Hyrule Warriors on 3DS. I plan to just get every character on the Wii U version. That said, her scenario is like the one element that I'm really kind of sad to miss out on in terms of only downloading the new characters on the Wii U version.
Yeah.
I think she's fun as a character. She's kind of breezy and a breath of fresh air, and yeah, I just it'll be sad not to have her scenario story-wise on the Wii U version.
Maybe if Legends does poorly, they'll just port the content over to the Wii U.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
very true.
wouldn't that piss off the people who did buy Legends, though?
True, but I don't care.
It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation right now for Nintendo.
Exactly.
All right.
This
Well,
kind of seems like they're always in that kind of situation, doesn't it? Yeah, damn if they do, damn if they don't.
pretty much. Anyway, alright guys, I think that covers it for our Hyrule Warriors discussion, so thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Ted, where can they find you at?
I'm a member of Brain Scratch Comms. We do a number of video game commentaries on all sorts of different stuff, including Zelda and other Nintendo things, so you should check us out. We're good fun.
Alright, and of course stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Hyrule Warriors and other things gaming too. Until next time guys, bye.